De Muntsluis, bridge number 1, is a fixed bridge in central Amsterdam. Although the bridge carries number 1, it is not the first bridge in Amsterdam. The name sluis is used here in the sense of stone bridge, not as a water barrier. The bridge is located over the place where the Singel flows into the Amstel. The bridge forms the connection between the east quay of the Singel, the Kalverstraat, the Rokin, west quay of the Amstel, the Reguliersbreestraat, and Vijzelstraat. The traffic intersection is named Muntplein. North of the bridge stands the Mint, the namesake of the bridge and square. Since 1972, the statue of Lady Fortune by Hildo Krop has been standing on the bridge. This statue was missing for a short time, after theft, but was fortunately found again. A bridge has stood here for centuries. On the first city map by Cornelis Anthonisz, a bridge is already visible here, though it is more in the extension of the Kalverstraat than the current one. The bridge then led from the city gate, the Reguliersbreestraat, here to farmlands and cemeteries. On the map by Peter Bast from 1599, a single drawbridge forms the connection over the Singel. Joan Blow called it the Oud Regulier Poort in 1649. Between the northern landhead of the bridge and the Rokin, there was still construction, the so-called 5 English houses by John Jordan, once built on the foundation of the old city wall. The modern history of the bridge begins with the demolition of those 5 buildings. Since then, the bridge and the square have known no rest. The English houses were purchased and partially demolished by the municipality in the 1860s and 1870s. At the same time, the quays of Rokin and Amstel were widened, allowing the bridge to be widened in 1865 and 1877. It also shifted more towards Rokin-Amstel. In 1903, another reinforcement took place, but by 1913-1914, the Public Works Service was asked to design a new strengthening and widening. The architect responsible for the bridges at the time was Joe van der May. His design was approved on April 30th, 1914 by the Advisory Commission on the Development of Municipal Building Lands. In January 1916, the almost entirely renewed bridge was opened. The bridge showed primitive features of the Amsterdam School. Van der May also designed a bridge house kiosk that rose on the northwest side of the bridge. This Muntbrug did not last long either. The Vijzelstraat was designated by the municipality of Amsterdam as an exit road from the city centre, which would result in even more traffic. In the 1910s and 1920s, the northern facade of that street was demolished, and reconstruction took place far behind the old building line. In 1938 and 1939, the bridge was widened to a design by Van der May's colleague and successor, the office of Piet Kramer. It essentially amounted to an entirely new bridge. The bridge railings disappeared, and the kiosk, which had already been somewhat tucked away, disappeared altogether. A new access to the electricity house under the bridge was also created. Seats were added on the north side. As decoration, they chose worked natural stone and motifs in the brickwork. In 1949, a house for the traffic police was added to the bridge. That house disappeared from the bridge in 1992 and was then placed elsewhere. Further modifications followed. In 1984 and 1985, major maintenance was carried out on the bridge. Heavy traffic and trams had taken their toll. The central part was replaced, leading to traffic chaos. On October 10, 1996, a captain of a tour boat discovered a large hole under the bridge that had occurred because the drilling for tram track work had gone too deep. For 2 weeks, no tram traffic was allowed on the bridge, and the damage was repaired. In the 2010s, it turned out that during a redesign of the Muntplein, no modifications to the bridge were necessary. The parts not replaced in 1985 were found, after inspection, to still be sufficiently strong. However, it was decided to reduce car traffic. Pedestrians were given more space. Until 1985, there was a central tram stop island with 4 tracks on the bridge, 2 of which led into the city. Overtaking on the left track was allowed. The other two tracks led out of the city, with the outermost track being a pass-by track. Those trams had a stop in front of the then V&D. The trams coming from the Amstel into the city had a stop on the side of the bridge. In 1985, the tram stop island and the tram tracks along the Amstel disappeared. In their place came a stop in both directions in front of the then V&D, which was not for lines 4, 9 and 14, which remained on the pre-sorting track. These lines, out of the city, had a stop in the Reguliersbreestraat. The stop into the city for 6 lines was cramped and consisted only of a narrow refugee island without fencing where traffic raced by. Therefore, the pre-sorting track disappeared in 1994, making room for a wide stop in both directions, out of the city, for lines 4, 9 and 14. The stop in the Reguliersbreestraat was abolished, and deep under the bridge lies the tunnel of the north-south line.